Is more money more better when it comes to electric folding bikes? So here we've got two bikes, a $799 Engwe L20 and a $2,200 Juiced JetCurrent Pro. Is it really worth more than twice the price for the JetCurrent or the L20? Well, let's take a look at the two bikes, compare them, take them for a ride, and then try to decide. Both of these bikes are 52 volt bikes. The L20 has a 52 volt 13 amp hour battery. The JetCurrent has a 52 volt 19 amp hour battery. Out of the box, the JetCurrent is limited to 20 miles per hour, but you can easily unlock it to get throttle speeds up to 30 miles per hour and pedaling speeds up to 35, 36 miles per hour. The Engwe, on the other hand, will limit the throttle to 20 miles per hour and pedaling speeds up to about 28 miles per hour. Both bicycles have headlights. Both bicycles have headlights. The JetCurrent's headlight is much brighter. The JetCurrent also has daytime running lights. Both bikes have brake lights. The JetCurrent, however, also has turn signals. The JetCurrent has a horn. The Engwe, however, only has a bell. You can program the Engwe 3 levels, 5 levels, 9 levels. Same with the JetCurrent. The Engwe only has mechanical. The Engwe has mechanical brakes, 180 millimeters. The JetCurrent has 203 millimeter 4-piston hydraulic brakes. The JetCurrent also has 20-inch by 4-inch tires. The Engwe has 20-inch by 3-inch tires. Both bikes have knobby treads. Both bikes are somewhat low, and around corners you will drag the pedals, as you can see on the JetCurrent, where the aluminum has rubbed off on the folding pedal. The Engwe has front and rear racks. The JetCurrent has a rear rack. Both the Engwe and the JetCurrent have ergonomic handles. The JetCurrent has a thumb throttle. The Engwe has a half twist throttle. The front suspension on the JetCurrent has multiple adjustments: preload, afterload, dampening. The Engwe just has a lock and preload. Or the Engwe just has a lock and dampening. No rear suspension on the JetCurrent. The Engwe doesn't have a rear suspension either. However, it does come with an inexpensive suspension seat post, and it uses the same seat from more expensive bikes, which is nice and cushiony, giving it an actually more comfortable ride than the Juiced. Probably the most noticeable difference between the two bikes is the build and weight. The JetCurrent is substantially stronger built with a much thicker frame and stronger build quality than the Engwe, but it also has a much lighter frame, with the Engwe weighing in about 68 pounds and the Juiced weighing, I believe, around 80 pounds. On the display, the Juiced gives you the voltage, which is really nice because you always know about where your battery level is. The Engwe, on the other hand, just gives you bars. However, in the settings, you can adjust that to the specific voltage for each bar. So if you know what voltage you have it set, you'll know exactly where you are. Voltage sag does affect that quite a bit though, so it's kind of hard to really know exactly where your battery is at. This is not a long-range bike. It can do 15 miles, but I would not trust it to do more than 20. I've not had problems doing 15 miles at a time with this bike, but I've had other people tell me that they can't go more than 20 miles on a charge. So with the Juiced, your mileage may vary. I still have to take it out on longer rides, so I can't really attest to that at the moment. It took me a long time to get the rear view mirror solid so that it wouldn't hit a gust and blow over. And the problem is it comes with one locking nut, and it really should have one for the top to lock this part in place and one down here to lock this part in place. So this upper arm wants to swing in every time a gust of wind hits it. So it's just kind of finicky to get really adjusted. And another thing I don't like is that you have to turn the battery on to put it in. And I don't know, even when you turn the bike off, you can see the light, the battery stays on. So I feel like there's always a phantom drain unless you take the battery all the way out. Which I feel like is, if you're working and you're gone for a long period of time, you're going to have a phantom drain, and I don't know. So you literally have to take the battery out, turn it off with the button, and then try putting it back in. And to put it back in is kind of a pain. You have to put in the key, slide it onto the unlock, and then put it in lock. So unless you manually turn off the battery, and that will keep people from powering it up, but it's also kind of a pain to have to turn your bike on and off every time. Take out the battery and turn it on and off every time. Both bikes fold easily. Folding mechanisms are similar. When it comes to actually transporting, I would say because of its lightweight, the Engwe is probably the easier of the two.
So the L20 is the $799 bike. And so how does it compare to the $2,200 bike? Well, throttle only, it'll go 20 miles per hour. So this is maxed out throttle, pretty slow, meanders. And whereas the $2,200 bike has a torque sensor, the $799 bike only has a cadence sensor. A little delay. It's not uncomfortable. Unlike the more expensive bike, it has a softer seat, and even though it's an inexpensive one, it has the benefit of a suspension seat post. Which ironically is something the more expensive bike does not have. Granted, you could probably get a similar post for like 20 bucks, $30, but it really does help make the ride feel significantly better. Now, I would like it to tell you the voltage on the display, but you can actually set the bars to the voltage. So if you know what the voltage is set at, what the bars are, you'll know where you're standing. So I don't know that I can really hold that. So much against it. Alright, so riding the Juiced JetCurrent. And comparing that to the much cheaper Engwe. So I'm just cruising along, 27, 7th gear. So is the $2,700 Juiced really 2.5 times better than the $800 Engwe. Uh, yeah, I think without a doubt it is. But it really does come down to what you're looking for. But what you get with the Juiced is that speed. Take it slow and measured. Sure. You could easily get 30 miles, I think. There have been some comments with people that say they get very limited range. And there's no doubt the bike is fast. And that's the thing. With speed goes range. So if you're cruising with your bike, at 35 miles per hour, of course you're going to see a lower range than if you're just piddling around. Now, one thing I'll say is it's nicer. I think I finally got the rear mirror saddled. As long as you're on a smooth road, it's perfectly comfortable. But yeah, it is definitely not the most comfortable bike without a rear suspension. That's one thing that the $799 bike has that the more expensive bike lacks. Is a suspension seat post, but as long as you're on a smooth road, it's not bad. It's perfectly acceptable. So, highs, speed, torque, lows, no rear suspension. The $799 bike has that suspension seat post, which is nice. You do get things like a turn signal, better lights, higher top speed, has a bigger battery. But with the higher top speeds, you use a lot more energy. So that bigger battery doesn't really translate to a substantially higher range. So that bigger battery doesn't translate to substantially higher range. So it's hard to say. Would I recommend this over the $799 bike? Depending on your use case, I would say probably yes. However, just because this is an overall better bike, but if you're looking for a budget bike that you just wanted to put in the back of your vehicle and use for small jaunts and didn't need a high top speed, I would definitely go for the lower price bike. In the end, yeah, they both have good build quality, and I don't think you could go wrong with either. But given the choice, I'm going to go with the higher end bike just for the top end. Just keep in mind that your range with this power is going to suffer. So that's it. In the end, it really comes down to your use case. If you want to pack it up, go with the cheap bike. If you just want power, go with the expensive.